Hey guys, and welcome back to another flashlight review. So today we're going to be looking at something a bit different. This is the Nextorch Artorch, and this is probably one of the most unusual looking flashlights in my collection. And it has a really thick battery tube. Check this out. It's about twice as thick, at least twice as thick as the battery tube on some of my other flashlights. So it's going to be pretty durable. And if you look on the back of it as well, there is this kind of rotary switch here. So you kind of switch that, turn that on and go through the different modes. And of course you have this inbuilt finger grip as well. And if you ask me, it kind of looks a bit like a knuckle. So I guess it's to break windows along with the 3 ceramic glass breaking beads on the head. And yeah, like I said, this rear switch is pretty unconventional. So essentially how it works is, I guess you're meant to hold it this way, okay? And it fits directly in your hand, very easy, very comfortable in the hand. And you just basically rotate this dial. So you've got low, medium, high, and then you've got a strobe. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple, and it's the kind of UI that you really can't go wrong in terms of simplicity. So yeah, let's have a look at what you get in the box. Now, Nextorch include an 18350 cell. So here it is, 1400 milliamp 18350 cell. That's pretty decent capacity. I think that's on the upper limit of the capacity for these 18350s. And yeah, it comes with a charging port, little indicator light to let you know that it's charging. And yeah, basically screw the back on. And you know, as you can see, the whole tail is basically that finger grip. You've also got a USB-C charging cable, get an instruction manual, and this is the box that it comes in. So if you want to pause the video, have a look at some of the specifications here, you can do so. Doesn't say what LED it is. Here we've got the candela measurements and output, 10-year warranty. And over here is a holster that's not included, but you can buy separately. It's the V42X carry that's designed directly for this, specifically for this flashlight, the Artorch, and you slot it in like that. And I guess the idea is that you just grab it out of your pocket, pop it back in, pretty easy. It's made of polyamide and fiberglass, so it's really, really durable. And you can see this is the mechanism that basically latches onto your belt. Okay, just release the mechanism through that area. And you can also rotate this thing, so you can pull this area there, rotates freely, then you can press it down to lock into place. So an application for this might be, you know, you've got it clipped to your belt, and you maybe want the light to turn on while you're walking around, so you can do that. There's a little opening here, so yeah, kind of like almost a hands-free solution, I suppose. I don't know how often I'm going to be using this holster, probably not at all, but for some of you guys who maybe work as first responders, I think this would be a lot easier than carrying around in your pocket. So here's the Nextorch Artorch next to a few other flashlights that I own, and that's the Nextorch TA30D. That takes an 18350 cell, and you can see even the battery tube there has a smaller diameter than the Artorch. Okay, and you've got the Vastlight bow here, which is also an 18350 flashlight, and you can see also the diameter of the entire flashlight is a bit smaller. And you've also got the Convoy S8 here, so just thought I'd put it next so you have an idea of what it's like to carry around. And this is what I mean by the battery tube. Let's just have a quick little squeeze at this. So that's the Convoy tube. That's got to be, yeah, that's got to be at least 3 times as thick. So yeah, I was wondering why it felt so heavy when I first got it. So here is a little close-up of the Nextorch Artorch. And yeah, it's got a pretty unusual design, as you can see. And the body is made of aerospace grade aluminium, hard anodized finish. Feels pretty tough and premium in the hand. And I like how it feels a little more weighted than, you know, other flashlights that I own, so similar flashlights that I own. And as you can see, it's just usually that thicker battery tube, the tail cap. There's a bit of titanium or steel here on the top as well. But yeah, it still doesn't feel as heavy, for example, as, you know, a copper or a brass flashlight. It's more kind of on the lines of maybe a titanium, the weight of a titanium flashlight of this size. And yeah, overall, it feels surprisingly comfortable in my hand. It fits just perfectly in my palm. And there's this anti-roll feature as well, so that thing's really not going to move around on a flat surface. And yeah, kind of looks a bit military sort of styling, tactical feel. IP68 water resistant, 2 meter drop resistant as well. And you do get a lifetime limited warranty with this. So you can see here on the tail, you've got this rotary switch, and that's made of metal as well. Very intuitive to operate. Literally just rotate that, and there are pivot points, so it's kind of smooth in between each pivot point, each mode. And yeah, it's just quite intuitive for someone who maybe doesn't want to be clicking through different modes, double clicking, that kind of thing. You really can't go wrong. And yeah, easy to use one-handed. You just use your thumb here to operate the switch. And yeah, there's this integrated finger ring, which I've never seen on a flashlight before. Maybe it's an older classic design. If you guys know of any other lights, let me know. But personally, I've never seen a flashlight with the actual ring integrated onto it itself. I've seen, you know, additional accessories that you can attach on. And yeah, I've already gone through the USB-C battery. It doesn't take CR123 batteries according to the manual, and there's no onboard charging as well, so you do need to charge that battery separately. Okay, so here's a little look down the bezel, and I'm not sure what LED this is because Nextorch don't state it in the manual, but it's a quad die de-domed LED, so it's optimized for throw, also for higher output. And you've got an orange peel reflector in there. Helps to smooth out the beam with these larger dies, dyed LEDs. And you can see as well there's a bit of glass here on the front that helps protect the internals. And you've got what I think is it's either steel or titanium, probably steel, because it's just a little lighter. They've you know, put it through some kind of antiquing process to dull it down, so it's pretty tough. You've got these 3 glass breaking nano ceramic beads, and you can see here on the finger grip as well, there is this sort of pointed area that you could also use to break a window. So let's go through the UI. It's pretty simple. So basically you just rotate this top switch here, this rotary switch, so that's low, medium, high, and then strobe, and then it goes back down. So technically you do have 1-step strobe if you just rotate it down, but you just have to remember which way. So I guess if you're holding it like this, which is you know, the only way you can really hold it, and then flick the switch down 1 step, you're going to get that strobe. But in order to get to the highest mode, you're going to have to either flick through those lower ones, or go to strobe and then flick 1 down from strobe. If you got the light on low and you unscrew the light and screw it back in, it'll go back to that mode because that switch is on that same location. So I mean, I guess you could perhaps go to like the high mode there, unscrew it, screw it back in for like a 1-step, you know, like a 1-step high. I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests with the Nextorch Artorch, and this is on the high mode, so 1600 lumens. And you can see you get just over a minute of runtime before the light steps down. You've got a pretty steep step down by the 3-minute mark. You're sitting on about 20% output. I ran a second ceiling bounce test on the medium mode, 300 lumens, and you can see there was no deterioration in output. I also ran some tests with my Opal Lightmaster Pro and was surprised to see, you know, pretty decent amount of range. So you can see here 339 meters of range on the high mode, and even on the medium mode 137 meters of range. Some considerations to keep in mind if you're thinking of getting the Nextorch Artorch. So this light uses an 18350 cell. Okay, it's a low capacity, and you're going to go through it pretty quick on the high mode, but on the medium mode you will get a 2.5 hours of runtime. So that's still pretty decent, as 300 lumens is definitely useful for most tasks. The second consideration is this tactical style grip, and the rotary switch might not be for everyone. It makes the light feel a bit bulky with this thing sticking out the back, and the grip could also, of course, function as a metal knuckle, which seems like a bit of a legal grey area for us in Australia. But yeah, if you're using it as a standard grip, I think you should be fine. Personally, I think I would prefer a normal switch in the back, as the rotary switch does make it tricky to get into high or strobe fast and without hassle. I could see it, a point where I try to flick it down and I end up in the wrong mode, for example. So yeah, in an emergency. But yeah, the momentary mode would also be good, just having an additional, maybe like a large switch here on the back, just being able to light up an area for a couple of seconds. Also a couple other annoyances, like there being no clip, so I can't clip it in my pocket. There's no battery indicator as well. There's also a lack of onboard charging, which I think I can live with, but yeah, just one of those things. When you want that higher IP rating, flashlight companies tend to remove that USB-C charging port. Overall, the Nextorch Artorch is a surprising little addition to their flashlight range, and this thing feels extremely comfortable and natural to use, though like I said, part of me just wishes that it had a normal metal switch there on the back. Though as far as beginners friendly, you really can't go wrong with the UI and switch. Just rotate the thing and go. And I like the blend of flood and throw in the beam profile. I think it's great for, urban EDC, car garage use, maybe patrols and security, and perhaps in an emergency kit as well. But yeah, if you're looking for something with a standard tactical interface, I'd suggest going for another Nextorch flashlight like the TA30D, just something where you can press the back switch and know it's always going to go to turbo and strobe, that kind of thing. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and if you have any questions as well, let me know, comment. And if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, do me a favor, click the like button, share it with someone who might be interested. Just helps me to get the channel out to more people. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the latest flashlight news, make sure you subscribe.
Nextorch Artorch, and that's your low, medium and high. It's a very nice beam, it's balanced, still has sufficient throw. You can see into these buildings pretty easily, but at the same time you have just a nice useful beam pattern, so a ton of spill. Spill starts probably a meter and a half from me, so yeah, you do get a good amount of peripheral vision as well. I'll go for a bit of a walk. Nextorch Artorch, and this is the low mode, medium and high. So yeah, it does have an orange peel reflector in there, so it's got a decent sort of throwy beam. You can see all the way down to the back of that golf course there, but that hotspot's pretty large and it blends in nicely with the spill. So yeah, 1600 lumens, not too shabby for a flashlight of this size. And the battery tube and the light itself has just a lot of aluminium material on it. The battery tube is just extremely thick, so it does provide a bit of extra heat sinking material. The medium's still okay to sort of see into the mid-range. I mean, as a walking light, your low to medium should be okay. Probably your medium is a bit better. But yeah, that's your high mode. And around the edges, you can see of the beam there are these little crenulated areas, just due to the bezel, the glass breaking beads. Okay, I'll go for a little walk. Actually, I'll put onto there's a little strobe feature hidden in here as well. Okay, but yeah, let's go for a walk.